Right, Ken here. This is my first screencast, and so I'll set the bar real low. I'm going to choose to do a Windows workflow Kata, so to speak, but really it's just part of the Microsoft Activities Unit Testing project. I'm going to create a new project that will, given two numbers, sum them up, and on error being a negative number, throw argument out of range exception. Again, this is straight out of the Microsoft Activities Unit Testing tutorial online, but we're going to do this TDD style. So let's call this a Visual C# workflow project. Call it a library. That way, as a library, you can insert whatever workflow you create into a web service, into a Forms app, into a web page behind IIS, however you like. But for now, we're going to call this how about the summer? This is an activity library. Good. I am using Visual Studio Ultimate with ReSharper 2013. Hopefully, I won't use too many ReSharper shortcuts that you can't understand what's going on. But I do like using ReSharper because I'm a C++ programmer at heart, and my C# isn't as strong. To be honest, with ReSharper, I can do a lot more than my capabilities, so that's why I use ReSharper. And my company pays for it, so there's that. Test. Unit test. Call this the summer test. So TDD, red, green refactor. I could even do this BDD style, but I'm going to save that for the next video. So, first test. First thing to do is add this reference to Microsoft Activities Unit Testing. Funny thing about this thing, it never fails to pop open a web page of how to use this thing every time you add it. So for those curious, I am running Visual Studio 2013, hosted in Mavericks OS 10 via Parallels version 9. Yep. Where did I get my 2013 Ultimate? I actually bought it on YouTube, eBay. So it's totally legit. How do I like running Windows stuff via Parallels in coherence mode on Mac? It's all right. It's pretty slick to see everything running side by side. Maybe the confusing part is I'm running Windows 8, so there isn't just this easy fly-out menu start. Okay, here we go. Unit test. I like to call my test name something useful, like it's going to be testing this workflow when thinking here. All right. When work flowing. Maybe that's one thing I don't like. There's some slowdown hiccups that happen. All right. Can I sum two numbers? Gosh, I don't know why it's so slow. Maybe it's screen recording. All right. Input equal to the input to my workflow, which will be, there's this little extension that speeds things up. Create num1, which will be 1. Num2, I'm going to add to 4, which we know the result will be 5. Activity is going to be my new workflow called Activity 1. I didn't bother changing the name of it. Probably should have called it something good like Summer Activity, Summer Flow. And then the guy that's hosting this, the way to test workflows is to use this workflow invoker test class. Pass it the activity we're testing, set, and the input. My computer's really slow. I wonder if it's the Skype. Let me kill Skype here. Quit Skype. I've been seeing Skype messages pop up, and that's when things were slowing down. So, input. It's getting frustrating. I don't even want to record this anymore. All right. Try finally. So in your finally, if you do this tracking.trace, you'll get a nice output to your trace window about what's going on. And then here we actually do the test activity. All right. So, because our activity doesn't do anything, it's got no arguments, it's got no variables. So obviously we are going to be in the red pretty soon. Let's do this. Run. Oh, darn it, my computer's slow. I don't know if I've ever seen it so slow. I should have been done with this thing. Seriously. This is GoToMeeting. Just trying to close some stuff now. Sorry. All right. So one test failed. Pass it. Test activity. Oh, right. What are we testing? That the sum of the result is 5. So host dot assert on argument dot r equal. We're going to call the result some out workflow variable called sum. In this case, the result should be 5. Should still fail. So here I was saying with the trace, you can see what's going on with your workflow, and at the end of the day, it'll say something about don't know what your num1, num2 inputs are. In fact, maybe this one's easier to look at, this output. The values provided for the root activities arguments are not able to satisfy the root activities requirements. Namely, we don't know what num1 and num2 are. All right, so let's do that. Num1, num2, sum is 5. Toolbox. Arguments. Let's create one. Two is an input argument of type int32, of course, and the sum is the out argument called also int32. And what do we really want? The sum should be equal to 5. Well, this is what I'm going to do to make it pass, but we do know that we should probably sum up the two variables, but I'll make another test to do that. I'm going to think it's going to pass this time. Yes. Okay. I'm going to steal this test. All right, Control W usually highlights everything. Sharper. Obviously not the case because of my parallels. What? This is going great. All right. Can sum another two numbers. Probably a better way to test this would be to pass these arguments in as arguments into the test, but I'm not going to do that. Let's say 5 and 4 should be 9. Run all. Why is my computer so slow? Okay. Make this pass by adding num1 and num2. It's going to be the longest codecast doing the simplest thing that I've ever seen. Okay. Do this again. I reject check negative numbers. This is negative. Come on, any day now. Even I'm getting annoyed. Should be this. We're not going to test the out argument anymore. Now we're going to do an assert helper. Throws. And when do we throw that? When we call, holy cow, this is slow. We call host.test activity. I'm going to say it failed because it'll just add the result was -1 instead of it throwing. Did not throw. Yep, it didn't throw. How do we do that? We wait a long time. We're going to cut this. I'm going to add another flow chart. I think it's an if. Nope, it's a control flow. And we still want to add if it's positive, paste. So if num1 greater than -1 and num2 is greater than -1, then do that, else we want to throw. Here so you can see it. Alright, that's strange. New argument out of range exception. Alright, should do it. We are almost at the end of this kata. Hoping this is it. All right. There you have it. The summer exercise, which I made a kata out of. Thanks a lot.